Oh, fuck.
Hi, this is Tom Simpson from Arnold, Maryland. I love soccering, and you are listening to the DU Football Show. Go soccer, guys. Soccer good.
I just felt that after my run-in with football Twitter that we needed some good soccering and go soccer guys from our one friend who really doesn't like soccer at all.
Gio Reyna?
Yeah, exactly. He had some troubles. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Smells of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased coverage of the 2022 World Cup, as told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, the man with the smooth hair, almost like a seal's hair, Mr. Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing over there?
Doing very well, thank you. Oh, patreon.com/DU Football Show. $5 gets you all of our extra content, most of which is inappropriate. And tonight's sound check was quite funny.
I mean, that's worth all the monies. All the monies.
So when your hair's slick, does it like look like skin, like a seal, like not like hair, like fur? Is it like really smooth?
Yeah,
that's
it is.
Yeah, you know, I kind of thought that. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. It is at DU Football Show on all the social medias, especially if you're an English person living on Twitter with a profile picture of a footballer that's not yourself. And then dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email.
I really wanted to reach out to all of them and just be like, you good?
Yeah. And don't forget, everybody, of course, there's the DU Drip Shack, which the link is in all of our bios and all the social media, where you can get some really cool DU swag.
The flyest
For a
gear.
nominal fee, of course.
And our closed group, of course, Drunken United FC, where all the bants, as
Hashtag bants.
Sam likes to say, happens, including straight fire like this from our boy Ken, who's Southampton supporter, so he doesn't really have much to celebrate, but he did have this to celebrate. Literally minutes after the match was over.
This is the England-France match you're talking about.
Uh-huh. I'm sorry. I was under the impression it was coming home.
Emotional damage.
I mean, that's all you can say. Like, just damn. I opened it, looked at it, it just verbally went, damn.
He texted me privately, was like, I've been sitting on this screenshot for fucking ages. He said he almost couldn't find it. He had to go back so far.
Oh, and then there was our good buddy Mark, who's a Spurs supporter, who loves to have a goat with us, and we talked about him before. Where he's very literal, doesn't know how to talk shit. Like, you'll be like, you know, you do. He's
actually
shit.
quite Dutch in a way.
Yeah, you'll be talking shit, and he'll just be like, your team's shit. Like, that's how he talks shit. Like, just your team shit. You're like, okay, great. That's good. But
He's
Mark,
a lot better. He's a lot better at the bands in person.
Yeah, but this isn't how it works, Mark. We talk shit.
He
back
doesn't
and forth to each
type
other.
tone very well. Either.
And he's like, typical Yanks. And then immediately, within seconds, Kenny goes, I have receipts. Hashtag bants. Boom. Drops
the screenshot. Yeah.
Screenshot of him saying, I think it's coming home this year. No, it's not. No, it's not. Dare we say England pulled an England?
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what, Sam? Or as I always like to say, you can drive your happy ass over here.
Yes.
Which is the case tonight. Our good friend Nicole. Or, I'm sorry, Nick Cole.
This is like Joel Linton.
Yeah. Nick Cole.
Yeah.
Cole, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well.
It's been an eventful evening already.
It has been quite the evening already.
Late pizza, really wrong shit said on sound check.
Smooth as a seal skin.
If only you were an otter. If only you were an otter.
Specifically a South African one, apparently.
Apparently,
Oh, Jesus.
if you're in the South Africa portion
Of Otter
of
World.
Otter World, that seal skin is what you come for.
Literally. Figuratively and literally.
DU After Dark, everybody. DU After Dark on the main show.
Jesus.
Oh,
That's
my
not an
gosh.
after dark. That was just sound check.
So, as
That's
we had
the
said,
winter. It's all after dark, technically.
So as we said, I believe the last time you were in was it was late September, early October, right? That you were in.
It was October last time I was in. And then I had a little bit of a COVID break because I had the vid, and then, of course, World Cup happenings. And so, yeah, it's been a while.
Nice. But we'd also said at the end of that show, we were like, when the World Cup went on, we wanted to get you in for an episode. And now, frankly, there's only so much World Cup we could talk because there's only so many games fucking left.
I know when the third, like when the round of 16 was done and we had those couple days off, I was like, whoa, what do I do with my hands?
Like, what am I supposed
It's been nothing but football for 2 solid weeks. Like, what do I do now?
Apparently engage in
Stop.
alone time.
My
with
mom's
the
listening to this.
seal.
Stop.
Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. We are going back to a whiskey that we drank in our first season, and I think we even drank it in the second season.
We come back to it a lot because it's delicious.
We haven't talked about this whiskey in a while, and Mr. Graham, go to town because I'm not going to.
Am I Missouri?
No, it's Michigan.
Michigan.
I fucking love this whiskey. Go ahead.
It's very good. It's the Journeyman Distillery's Buggy Whip Wheat, which is always difficult for me to say. The Featherbone Factory was originally owned by E.K. Warren, a businessman who revolutionized the making of corsets and buggy whips in the 1880s.
And a staunch prohibitionist. Funny that there's now a distillery in his building.
Right? EK set the precedence for hard work, innovation, and an adventurous spirit. We salute EK for his willingness to take risks, and we honor his adventure with our Buggy Whip Wheat. I mean, it is a big risk to do this life without whiskey the way things are going, to be honest. So I do respect him as well. It is organic. It is handmade. It is 90 proof, and it is delicious.
Kosher as well. It's 100% rye. Yes.
Guess Yitler won't be having any of this.
Yeah, Yitler won't be drinking any of this. No, this will not be. This will not be in
make him an
Kanye's
atheist.
It's 100% wheat, and a lot of wheat whiskeys. The one that everybody knows very well is Bernheim, and it's a little soft and it's a little subtle. This is a very big whiskey for being a grain that is very neutral.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who do small barrels and it tastes very young. This does not. You would swear this was in a 53.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'd swear that this was 4 years old. It's 2.
It's delicious.
And I unapologetically have said, and I stand by this, if I had 10 whiskeys on a deserted island for the rest of my life, this makes the list unequivocally. This makes the list. And a lot of our regulars have listened to this, have gone out and tried it. And every single one of our regular listeners who tried this whiskey have all said the same, like, yes, this is a fucking baller whiskey.
Would you trade out 5 of those 10 whiskeys to make sure that island was on the seal migration path? I mean, it's a deserted island and you're by yourself.
That's your thing, Otter Boy, not mine.
Only if a South African island, I guess.
Cole, what do you think of the whiskey?
I think it's delicious.
It's so good.
I like you said, it is mellow, but without being soft. It's still a big flavor in there.
But it's still an easy drink. That's a great.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
It's
one you
mellow
can
without
drink.
being soft, kind of like me.
you can go in soft cotton.
That's somebody else we know.
Exactly. You can drink this neat with a beer, like with a cold beer on a 90-degree day, and it'd be perfectly fine. Mel, what did you think of the whiskey? I know you wanted to grab and drink some.
Oh, I really liked it. It's got a little bit of a sweet, but not like overly sugarly sweet. And it's, yeah.
Yeah, wheat's always been something that typically gets blended into, when we talk about the wheater bourbons, like the most popular one out there is Maker's Mark, but it's also what, all the Pappy line and the Weller line are all wheaters as well. And typically wheaters do very well with age, like a long time in the barrel helps them. But yeah, this is as a standalone whiskey. If anybody said I want to try a wheat whiskey for the first time, this is the whiskey I tell them to find.
For sure. I mean, I don't know that I'd start with this one because then everything after this is downhill for a wheat whiskey.
Do you need to drink any other wheat whiskeys then?
Well, no, because it's also affordable and available. How much? This runs usually about 45 or so on a shelf.
45. They did run out of it for a little while.
What?
Yeah, for a little while, but I still found some. And for me, this is a bottle of whiskey that is always in my closet.
Yeah.
Always. And if it's not in my closet, it's because I finished it a week ago and I'm going to buy another bottle of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to make an M&M joke. Fuck it.
What else do we need to do, Mr. Graham?
Make sure you remember to drink responsibly.
All right.
Just don't be like that guy and not drink at all.
Let's see how this clinking works. Ooh,
I don't mind it.
Works well.
I like it.
Yeah, Mr. Graham has
debuting a new cup.
Yeah.
Tonight. That Garrett, one of my compatriots in my sales job, is bought me very kindly. It is an Unt mug, where the C is the handle of the mug,
and we can figure out what that means.
Yes,
D-back.
This is now what I'm drinking whiskey out of on the show for the duration of how long we do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Forever.
This is now my whiskey mug. All right. Well, the World Cup quarters gave us every kind of match. The crafty veterans outdueled the favorite. A chippy affair that ended on penalties. A massive upset with a historic result. And a battle of heavyweights who left it all on the pitch. Croatia won. Brazil won. 4-2 Croatia advanced on penalties. Netherlands 2. Argentina 2. Argentina advances 4-3 on penalties. Morocco 1. Portugal 0. France 2. England 1. Brazil owned every single aspect of this match. They were far and away the better team. But the old men just don't fucking go away, do they?
Not because they're not Belgian. Those old men do go away.
Yeah.
Very easily, might I add. It was so boring.
Oh God.
It's so boring.
It was only exciting
It's so boring.
in the second 15 minutes of extra time. That's the only time it was exciting. God. And the penalty kicks, and that was it.
I shared a meme in the DUFC, the closed group on Facebook, and it's the looks, both in sets of players. It's a football pitch, and both sets of players are just seated in where their starting positions were. And it said, if we get a Croatia-Morocco final,
yes,
both teams waiting for penalties.
Sitting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Referee starts the game, everybody just sits down, just fuck it. It's essentially what it's going to be.
Blow the missile at 120. Blow it again at 120. We'll be good.
Yeah,
we'll go
exactly.
take the PKs.
Yeah. It's really, it could be like a cricket match. Is everybody go get lunch in the middle of it?
We'll get to the penalties as well, but Likovic, the keeper, Livakovic, thank you. It's all the CHs and Ks and Vs and shit.
I'm not drunk enough to mispronounce it yet.
Exactly. Hence why I look to you. Made 4 or 5
really good saves.
Monster
really
saves.
good saves.
It's not necessarily that Brazil did anything wrong.
No.
They played them hard.
But the Croatians put themselves on the line as well. I mean, there was a lot of blocks. Yes, ma'am. There was a lot of blocks. Tell me when. There were a lot of blocks. I think there was one clearance off the line pretty readily. I mean, they did a great job.
Yeah.
As a team, as a collective, Croatia.
And again, Brazil weren't bad. Brazil did exactly what they needed to do.
Except
just
when.
going in the net. And then they get the goal. In extra time, they get the goal, and you're like, okay, that's it. They're going to see it out. At the fucking death.
Yep.
Fucking header, boom, here we go. But we're going to penalties. And the minute it goes to penalties, you're like, ooh.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
This not going to go so well for Brazil.
The first one was saved, wasn't it? For Rodrigo's.
2 saved, 1 off the post.
They missed the first 3.
They missed the first 2, and then they missed the...
Then they made one and then missed the fourth.
No, he saved the first one, then the next 2 went in, and then when it got to number 4, they had to make number 4 to win.
And he saved
it. Put it off the post.
Put it off the post, yeah. All right. But Rodrigo, it's a pretty poor penalty to get things started. And I'm not sure as the Brazilian manager, I would have chosen what is Rodrigo, 19?
Yeah.
Never been in this sort of a pressurized situation before. I don't know that I would have put that on his young shoulders at that point. You know, we talk about have talked previously about England at the Euros. Last summer because it was delayed.
They put
with Saka, Rashford, and Sancho, but they were
on the back end
3, 4, and 5
because you put Harry Kane to take the first kick.
You had England, scoring their first 2, and then had those 3 just tuck them away. You know what I mean?
We'll get to Argentina next. Who took the first fucking kick? Messi.
Lionel Messi, right?
Because who was left on the bench? Who was left on the kickers that did not take a kick in the Brazil match?
Neymar.
Number 5. Number 5. He never even got to him.
Yep.
Also, like I don't take it away from you. You've got the different tools and you're trying to change things up. So it makes sense to sub out Richarlison. But if you thought for a second that thing was going to penalties, why in the hell do you take out a guy who's scored penalties to win you an Olympics and scored a penalty to win you a Copa America? Like, that's a guy that, like...
Well, he scored, but did Argentina win the Copa America when they went to penalties?
That,
oh, okay.
The one before that. But it's like, you need to have in the back of your head, this thing's close, it may go to penalties. If I'm putting somebody in his place, aka Anthony, then why isn't Anthony one of the ones taking a fucking penalty?
It usually works to a team's detriment, but there are certain teams on the planet that I don't mind them being a bit arrogant. Mm-hmm. Brazil's one of those nations.
Yeah.
England's one of those nations. France is one of those nations.
Brazil deservingly. They were far and away the better side. I would still argue they're the best team in this World Cup. They just aren't going to win it.
Oftentimes in tournament football, the best teams don't win. You know that? Oftentimes the best team doesn't win tournaments.
And
we've seen that because it has to do with your path. It has to do with injuries. Lifting yourself over and over again to that mental level and being able to go again to that physical level is very, very difficult. I think that's when we get to Morocco. I think that's going to be the difficulty in the next game against France. I think they are not going to have anything left in the tank.
Since winning the World Cup, Brazil has been knocked out of the quarterfinals in every single World Cup
since 2002
by a European side, and it happens yet again.
Yep.
Other than the semifinal, every single time except for the semifinal, because that was a semifinal against Germany.
Every single time except for that one time it didn't.
Yeah, exactly. So they had the one.
That was on home soil as well,
right? And they lost 7-1 in the semis. But other than that, every single World Cup since they've won it, they were knocked out in the quarters, and they were knocked into the quarters by a European side. I don't think you call this a disappointment for this country, because the team looks really good, and the team also, I think, is built to last a while too. Not a lot of age on that team.
No, it's really only Neymar that's older now, and he'd probably still be good for the next tournament, you think, as a 35, 36-year-old?
I put them right at the front for the contenders for 2026. I put them right at the front. And let's face it, I've said this multiple times, Brazil's a team I love to fucking hate. They're really fucking good. Like, there's not much of a weakness in that team. This was just that game This is that game, if you equate it to the NCAA tournament, you played a team who just kept hitting threes and you can never fucking catch up.
Right.
And it didn't matter. Or it's you played Wisconsin, who decided they were going to make the shot clock run for 30 fucking seconds every single time there was a possession, and you beat them, fucking 34 to fucking 32 because there's just no offense. There's no opportunities. Like,
Right.
Far and away the better side. But again, experience rules.
Yeah, so Neymar's 30.
Yeah. And that side of veterans just figured out a way to do it again.
Yeah.
And honestly, I am bullish on them to beat Argentina because I think Brazil is better than Argentina, and I think Croatia's been there before, and I'm seeing a France-Croatia repeat.
Fuck that. I'll be so pissed.
Yeah. I really think that's what I'm
so mad
seeing.
about it. But so Neymar's 30. So at 34, I think he can have his Ronaldo moment. We could watch him cry again in 4 years.
Or Luis Suarez, he also cried.
Yeah. That was welcome though.
Yeah, that was
very welcome.
We enjoyed that. So Cole, have you been keeping on much of the World Cup?
So I have not watched any of the matches. I'll be honest about that.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here.
In fairness,
to you guys though.
It's in the middle. It is in the middle. See, and you're doing it right. In the middle of the day. I mean, English Twitter would definitely tell you you're doing it right.
You know what? I'm okay with that. Yeah.
I mean, if they can save a penalty and have an English accent, she's all fucking in. I think, it's, let's face it, all the games are at, we're at 5, 9, 10, 2 o'clock. Like, it's when everybody's working, we're fortunate enough to have a job where we drive a lot and can just plug a phone into a car and listen to it while we're driving places. It's not hard. Or I can go to a bar and spend a few hours there because
you don't really have a real job.
Seeing an account.
Fucking suppliers. Fuck you guys.
Supplier with the number 5 fucking whiskey on Whiskey Advocate. Stop fucking 20.
Here we go again. 15th time I heard that.
All right, so moving on. Let's talk Holland and Argentina. This match was chippy.
And referee was doing everything he could to not send someone off.
They were doing everything they could to try
Get
to
sent
send
off.
someone
Yeah,
off.
100%.
14 yellow cards. Allow me to say this again. There are 22 people on the pitch. There was 14 yellow cards.
Amazingly, I don't think Emmy got one.
No, Emmy didn't.
I liked his wee dance at the end of the penalties. That was pretty good.
Cutest little dance.
You know who's pissed off about the dance?
Who?
Roy Keane. He was really mad about Brazil turning up and dancing. It's just disrespectful to your opponents, it is. He was just going off about it, just being very old
Does
white
he
man.
not know? I mean, Emmy didn't hump the air this time, which
I know.
I was disappointed. I was looking forward to that. The second it went to penalties, I was like, oh, well, this shit's over. First one stopped.
Oh, yeah.
Second one stopped.
It's just very funny when Roy Keane gets very, and Graham Souness does the same thing, like about Pogba's hair and some of the other stuff. They get very old white man on the porch yelling at the clouds. It's just, it's very funny.
Well, in the
It's
case
just
of Graham,
very funny.
In the case of Graham Souness, it's because they're not white. That's why he's doing it.
Roy Keane's playing up to a
Yeah.
bit, pretty much, that he's a grumpy fucker, and he is a grumpy fucker, but he knows it, and he's playing up to a bit.
Graham Souness
But
doesn't
Graham
like
Souness-
brown people.
I don't know that I'd go. I don't know that I'd go that far.
And he says,
But-
well, you know what? His words and commentary
Oh,
would
really?
very much say
I've never heard that.
he doesn't. Whenever you hear him on the desk, but not in commentary,
Yeah.
sorry, but on the desk, most of what he says would very much lead you to believe the man's a touch Jonesian.
Well, isn't he Glaswegian?
I mean, well,
It's just a city full of Alex Joneses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
special-
That's a city that needs to understand D-back very much so. They
At
wake
the-
up
at
in
the
morning
risk
and
of
go, "You know what?
sounding-
I am gonna be one this morning. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
At the risk of sounding Sunisian,
Show title right there.
Glaswegians are a special breed.
Buckfast is a hell of a fucking wine. That is for damn sure.
Oh, that's funny. Did I ever tell you the story, just briefly? Did I ever tell you the luck?
Nothing with you is brief. But
The luck that the city of Glasgow had on the River Clyde
no,
in World War II?
no.
There was a shipyard right as the river bent
Mm-hmm.
in one area, and the Germans were going to bomb it.
Mm-hmm.
The night they chose, though, have 4 sunny days a year. The night they chose was raining because Scotland. And they ended up bombing a highway in the middle of nowhere because the water on the road reflected the moonlight, and they thought it was the river. So they were following eyesight. They were following a highway when they thought they were following the River Clyde. Isn't that interesting?
Very interesting.
Oh, yeah.
That was wonderful.
Yeah. It's probably just because they were, in Sooness's mind, dumb
Now
Germans.
let's take the foot
But-
off the brake pedal and put it back on the gas pedal and
I heard.
continue to drive it.
All right. You don't like history. That's cool.
So, back to Emmy.
Argentina seemed to have this thing in the bag. It's 2-0, and then
But what I tell you,
Hold on.
what the fuck did I tell you last week during the quarterfinals? Put the big lad up front.
and what do? Bring in Burnley's own
Vort the Veghorst.
on a yellow card from the bench. He got a yellow card while on the bench, so they sub him into a match with a booking already on him. No
Brilliant.
rainbow worm band, no nothing. Just put his ass on the pitch. He'd already yelled at had already told the ref his feelings. Comes on, bangs in 2-2. We're going to extra time.
Just lump it up to the big lad. What'd I tell you? They do this all the time. This is all the time. And all the tactics, all the ticky-tack, the greatest player in the world, possibly that has ever lived, captaining your opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Van Gaal goes, Veghorst?
Bring in the tall fucker. Just throw it up there. See
It's
what
just,
he can
that's
do.
all you got to do.
Oh, by the way, Emmy saves 2.
And it works.
Who took number 3?
Veghorst.
What happened? Back of the fucking
Goal.
net.
Yeah, take that. Emmy who?
Yeah, you can fuck whatever you want. Fuck you. I just scored.
Yeah, well, I bet you if the Netherlands had advanced, on the back of that, Veghorst would have started as a center forward
Oh, God, yeah.
in the semis. It's a shame they didn't. Louis van Gaal's probably going to step down and retire for the 5th time,
Yeah.
I think. I think it's up to, I think this will be the 5th
This
one.
time he's actually recovering from cancer. I think
this
he'll
might be it.
probably finally really
Yeah,
call
until
it a
Chelsea
day.
get rid of Graham Potter and they need a interim until the end of the season.
We talk about shithousery and we talk about gamesmanship. And then there was this match.
Yeah, all over it.
Everything was somebody grabbing somebody. In one moment, a young Argentinian player gets a foul and then just, not thinking, just kicks the ball away.
It looked like frustration, just like, God damn it, and just lash the ball like
Also, just
you
time
would kick
wasting.
against the advertising hoarding.
Right, time wasting. Kick the ball in the fucking stands. Let it take another 30 seconds off the clock.
Straight to the Netherlands bench.
Problem.
And if there's one team you don't want to rifle the ball at people that are just sitting there enjoying themselves, it's fucking Dutch people.
And Cole, I'm not sure if you were aware of this. The Dutch, a literal people.
Mm-hmm.
A very, very literal people.
I was aware. Mm-hmm.
And it just became, throughout the penalties, the keeper walking up to every single penalty taker, the keeper walking and talking in Emmy's ear the entire time. The final, in Argentina caught some shit for this because when they scored and won, a few of the players actually turned as the Dutch were on their knees crying and did the fuck you.
It just ran, yeah.
Fuck you.
So they, on the way to run to Emmy,
Yeah.
took a bit of a left turn and ran in front of the Argentina
Well,
players standing there before they
Uh,
looked a lot like a parabola.
Actually, only one person ran to Emmy, and we'll let Mel get to that here in a moment. But they all ran to Martinez, who scored the goal. Only one guy ran towards Emmy. Who was that, Mel?
I don't remember. I'm ruining everything.
I mean, it's only the most important player on the field.
Oh,
Veghorst?
It was Messi.
Messi. Sorry.
Yeah, the entire
That
team
guy.
went running
What's that
towards
guy's
the
name?
yeah.
The Messi. Lionel.
This
God.
And this is why the Supreme Court made things to say you're not your uterus, your choice. Go ahead and hit that old mute button there, Miss Thing.
I'm not about to do that.
Oh, you're slowly driving this.
Yeah, there's a
off the
rumor.
cliff.
Messi's coming to Aston Villa.
Really?
There's a rumor.
I'm taking care of that myself.
There's no rumor.
That is an executive decision. No.
The biggest rumor
You've
I've heard.
spoken enough. You're good. You.
Speaking privilege
I'm
isn't gonna vote.
I'm gonna give you an Abby. No.
I'm gonna give you an Abby too.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
She's very disappointed in you.
Yes.
I will not let this stand. I will be your voicemail. Oh my god.
I don't see you much disagreeing in what I just did.
No.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
The biggest rumor that I've heard about Messi for real is Inter Miami
That's the one I've heard as well.
because he owns a house there. Because his house in Barcelona, I guess, isn't a good enough beach, so he has to own one in Miami as well.
Well, somebody should tell him there's pretty loose tax laws in Florida, but pretty tough tax laws in the United States.
Also, pretty bad thing about people that look like him, sound like him.
Miami will be
sometimes.
okay.
Yeah, Miami
all
would be fine.
Miami would be okay.
Did you hear him call somebody on the Dutch team an idiot
Yes.
in his post match?
Yep.
Did you see this?
Yep.
Cole? Yeah. So somebody, while he was giving his post-match interview, so in the tunnel, somebody was walking by, and the translation that they put up on the bottom, and I'm sure it's correct because he was using the same word at the end of the sentence, and they had that translated. And it was basically, "What are you looking at, idiot? You keep moving, idiot. Keep going." Like that.
It was well.
If that
I mean,
was the tone in which it was spoken, I'm pretty sure he didn't say idiot.
so going back to the whole
was pretty
thing
good.
of what they did.
I
to
mean,
the
it's no
Dutch team.
moonwalking out of the press conference, but
So everybody's being very like, "Oh, Argentina, you got to be better than that. You got to do better." Well, here's the thing: 5 Dutch players surrounded Martinez and walked with him until he was about 2 yards outside of the fucking penalty box, talking shit to him the entire way he went down there.
Wow.
And then one of them got a yellow card for it, and then they walked back. I know you're supposed to be a professional, but fuck you. Be happy I didn't pull out my dick and balls and wave them in your face and do a fucking a fucking willy copter. You fucking asshole. Like,
yeah.
especially after that, like you pulled that kind of fuck you.
So the Dutch, I'd probably say the Dutch and the Portuguese are probably the biggest culprits of it. But we've talked about Brazilians, Argentinians, Uruguayans, Chileans, and the South American, essentially, football culture of getting one over on the referee is as good as scoring a goal.
Yep.
It's as respected. It's part of the fucking game there. That's just how it is.
Right.
And the Dutch and the Portuguese are probably the 2 European nations that do it the most
Oh God, yeah.
in that part of the world.
I mean, well,
So you get 2 of these shithousery powerhouses together, and we get this beautiful event that happened the other day.
did you see the headline from the Daily Mail
No.
from Van Dyke, the Dutch tulip? Moment of silence. Thank you. He said he hasn't been the same since the injury, and that's probably
Oh,
why.
did he? It's Picker's fault. That's
Picker's
brilliant.
fault. It's Picker's fault. So I would like to say, when you look at the Dutch team, understand that their captain.
I'm surprised he didn't say something along the lines of, "I don't know why he injured me. He should have fought me like a man with his tiny arms."
Yes, that would be very Dutch of him to do. But very in a very Kopaitis Gobshite kind of way. Embarrassed by everything, ashamed of nothing. You know, it's just kind of the way that they roll. Clutch their pearls and then do the same fucking thing and go, well, I mean, I'm allowed to do that because I'm me. End of the day, it's still an amazing match. As ugly and crappy and just kind of grabby and shithousery as it was, the ebbs and flows of this match was just fucking incredible.
That was awesome. It was a lot of fun to watch. It was, the last time in a knockout tournament, I believe the Dutch were down 2-0, did the same thing, but they advanced in that one on penalties.
Yeah.
Where they came back and drew late on 2-2 and then went to extra time and then penalties as well. So there was a big error about that. And Argentina, outside of like 4 players, aren't particularly great. They're not like pulling up trees by any means. I mean, there's somebody in the squad that's there. One of the worst performances of this World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But he's only there because he's Messi's like best friend.
Right.
And he gets a little bit of playing time every game because he's Messi's best friend.
I did appreciate the ball that got kicked into the Dutch box. Alexis McAllister right there showing off his Scottish side. Just look at him going, ha! Right now.
Perfect.
Like, you go right ahead, buddy. You go right the fuck ahead. Moving on. Morocco, the first African nation to make it to a World Cup semifinal.
Game's gone.
And
There goes the World Cup.
and and they deserve it 100%.
It was not a great game.
No, it wasn't. But
I was not super happy with the way the game was played in general. The whole thing. Morocco were shit. Portugal were shitter, and Morocco got lucky that somehow their forward can fly.
Morocco.
I'm not sure what the fuck that was, but he was off the like 6 feet in the air. That may be the highest the center forward has ever jumped for a header ever.
Morocco did this to Belgium, and Morocco did this when they tied Croatia. Morocco did it when they tied Spain and eventually advanced. They're going to play their game, and they're going to wait for opportunities. This is very Jose Mourinho ball.
And their coach has only been there for about a month, maybe 6 weeks.
And they capitalize on opportunities. They could have scored more. They could have put.
Yeah, but they didn't. That's my point. Is a better footballing team.
No, I agree.
Would have taken those chances, and they just didn't.
And
that's where I think ultimately they're going to fall short against France.
I tend to agree. I think we're seeing a rematch. Is what I.
Yeah, I just don't think they have it in them to raise their game again.
Right.
Because we saw it in the Portugal game. They did not play well. It was a freak thing that this dude was able to jump so high, literally.
Right.
And then Portugal reverted, as the next point you have here, to type and diving and complaining and doing this, that, the other.
Trying to get
instead of
left
just
and right. And
instead of just allowing their footballing to do the talking, because they played a better game than Morocco did. Morocco held firm and did what they were supposed to do, stayed organized, and dealt with the shithousery, and Portugal just reverted to type, and that was it. And they stopped focusing on the game and tried to focus on conning the referee into something.
Here's going to be the difference between what France will do to Morocco and what Portugal didn't do against Morocco, is that there is the same level of talent on both of those teams offensively. There are great players on each of those sides.
Listen, don't compare anyone to France's most beautiful all-time leading goal scorer, Olivier Giroud.
Yeah, he's easy to look at. We've had this conversation. The man is very easy to look at.
I haven't watched a World Cup, but I've watched that.
Yeah. Olivier Giroud is very easy to look at. But the difference is France plays as a unit. France doesn't need to result to anything. Just keep plugging away, keep doing it. And we'll get to that when we get to France and England, is that no matter how the match is going, just keep plugging away. You're going to get your opportunities. They're going to be relentless in the way that they put it on to Morocco. And Morocco's not ready for that, because so far who they have played is a Croatian team that's old, that says, okay, fine. If we draw, we advance. So we'll take the draw, right? A Belgian team who was completely discombobulated, also old, and could not connect their offense and defense together. So it was easy to beat them. A Spanish team that overlooked them, frankly, very much, because the Spain team was very good.
Committed to playing ticky-tack roundabout bullshit football
that they forgot to
attack and score.
Goal.
Yeah.
And a Portuguese team that will result to anything to try to survive and advance. They're going to finally play a team that will go, okay, well, how do you feel when we do this?
So what you're saying is Morocco has lived the life of a South African seal. just enjoying their time on the beach, hanging out.
And here comes
laying on the
everybody's
sand,
favorite otter.
and here comes everyone's favorite otter in the
Olivier
form of
Giroud.
very attractive Olivier Giroud to just put it on them,
yeah.
whether they like it or not.
But we've also talked about this, and I want to mention this one last time because we've talked about it, and we know it's only a matter of time before Africa gets to a final, before an African nation wins the cup, and this is a big step.
Yeah,
because any African team in the quarterfinals thinks about it, goes, man, it'd be really great to be the first one that gets there.
Yeah.
Now you ain't got to think about that. You can just go and go, oh, we've got this team in front of us to play. Let's go play them.
But you also, I've said this to you before, with the African nations, especially West African nations and a lot of the Mediterranean coast kind of North African nations, it's the same problem that Belgium has. It's the same problem that subsets of the Germany team have, where there's very much tribal lines within the team, right? In the Belgians, it's the Dutch speakers, the German speakers, and the French speakers don't always get along. And nobody really sees themselves as Flemish. They're all part of these little subsets of communities, and you don't really get along with that. And, the silver lining of French colonialization was a lot of these West and North African countries had quote-unquote proper football channels now established, right? Because the original country, France, had now lines of business and communication as they were exploiting the people in general. Their footballers started to get noticed. They move. People, in their situation were like, hey, maybe I can go to France now and find a job or whatever. And then most of the national team now has Senegalese descent, is of Senegalese descent.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen in France in particular, Belgium's the same way, where you remember that kid that scaled the apartment building that saved the kid? This citizenship idea has been, for whatever reason in those countries, used as some sort of prized possession for its, emigrators. Is that right? For its immigrants. No, for its immigrants. Is that kid saved, I think he was Cameroonian, but he saved that kid from the burning apartment building. And Macron or whoever it was at the time, he's good. He's French now. He's a French citizen. They granted him citizenship on the back of that. I guess you'd call it an achievement.
Like showing up to your job every day and working hard and paying your taxes isn't enough to make you a citizen.
Exactly.
But doing something extraordinary, hey, now, dark man, now you're a citizen.
So now what you're seeing is a lot of African nations are doing what Jamaica's been doing and getting players that have been born in France to Senegalese parents or Moroccan parents or whoever have been, hey, why don't you come play for us instead? No one's ever heard of Gabon before. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang qualified for 4 different countries through grandparentage and everything else, chose the country of his father, of Gabon.
Yeah.
No one had ever heard of them until he chose them.
Well, and the good thing is...
An exceptional striker
but he
went to an African nation.
Never going to be the French striker.
He was never going to be the Spanish striker.
Yeah.
Because that was at a time when Spain didn't play with a striker.
Yeah. He was never...
Well, actually, they probably could have played with him. He only touched the ball 4 times a game anyway. But my point is the African nations are starting to do a better job of getting technically foreign nationals, but that would qualify for the national team back into their fold.
Right.
Right. And playing for the nation of their parents as opposed to the nation they were born in.
Yeah.
That being said, some of the Africans in those teams that were brought up in those countries are still holding tribal lines, are still holding language lines, are still holding, a lot of the Senegalese players prefer to speak their local dialect and not French in the team. Well, the ones born in France don't fucking know that shit.
Right.
So it's very difficult to get them all on the same page, but we're starting to see them putting it together. And this Ghanaian team especially, very young this year, new manager again. I think the Ghanaian team is going to be one to watch in 2026.
Yeah, I think the Senegalese team is probably aging out. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Nigeria back in because they're a fairly young side and they just missed the World Cup.
Yep.
So I think we could see that definitely.
Yeah. So and now that Hakim Ziyech is back in the role in Morocco, because that's why the previous manager was sacked just before the tournament, is his negligence, essentially, of not picking Ziyech.
Right.
Because they had a public kind of spat personally.
Thomas Tuchel? I'm sorry.
That's funny. I just hope the Senegalese team can refill their ranks quickly as well, because if African Snoop Dogg goes anywhere, I'm going to be super pissed. He was the coolest fucking manager of the tournament.
He was awesome.
Dreads down to the middle of his back. Fucking, not even a tracksuit, sweatsuit.
Yep.
Dude was, all he was missing was a pair of fucking Adidas shell toes. It was so dope. Dude's cool as a motherfucker.
Moving on to the final match. This was actually, for us here in America, dream case scenario. A Saturday, 2:00. The only college football game to compete with is on pretty much right after you finish in Army-Navy. And let's face it, not the most attractive football game to watch. Everybody watches it because we're like,
because it's Army-Navy, yeah.
You know,
America,
I believe collectively the passing yards
again to save the motherfucking day.
The passing yards in that game were a whopping 28-25 in favor of Navy.
Sweet
Passing yards. While they each had 437 rushing yards.
How many?
No, they both had like over 200 rushing yards, so it's a ton.
Because they're both rushing teams.
So, anywho.
If I was Navy, I'd air it out, because we actually have pirates.
So, here we are.
Pilots. Pirates? Shouldn't have said that. It's weird.
Privateers.
Another podcast.
We're back over here now, kids. And here it was.
You took away the wrong mute button.
Yeah, perhaps. I'll give you that one. This was exactly the match to have if you wanted a casual watcher of this game to watch.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah.
It's England.
I still have my VHS cassette tape from the 2004 Euros when they played each other in the quarters. I videotaped it.
It is England. It is
And
France.
I still have it. I don't even own a VCR.
It is the first time they've faced each other in the knockout stages of a World Cup ever. And this was two prize fighter heavyweights throwing fucking punches for 90 fucking minutes. This was ups and downs. You look at it and you're like, okay, so the two big, like there was obviously the goal from Harry Kane on the penalty, and then there was the miss from Harry Kane on the penalty, which we'll get to soon enough. It wasn't like England didn't have opportunities. England had a lot of chances, and England took it to France. And France, the better side, they're the defending World Cup champions, and frankly, they're a really fucking talented team, and they weren't at their best. This is something we talk about when we talk about Premier League games, where a really good team just doesn't have their day. This was not France's day. France found a way to fucking win. I mean, this is what fucking champions do.
England, 57% possession. I just pulled up the stats. 57% possession. They had 16 total shots, doubling France, who only had 8. 8 of which were on target from England, 5 from France. So 13 total shots on target from 24 shots.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, both teams went after each other.
Oh, and by the way, we're going to talk about Lloris, but those 3 saves Pickford made, goal savers. Like, I mean, he made 3 brilliant fucking saves.
Lloris had to make 2 or 3 of his own as well. I mean, that
six.
Bellingham strike was nuts from the top of the box.
I mean, it was everything you want. Like, when we say you should check out footy, this is why you should watch.
Yeah.
This game is exactly why you should watch fucking footy. Like, it was magnificent. I'm going to shut up now. Sorry.
I don't think that Gareth Southgate put a foot wrong except on 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he should go, because I don't think anybody else that's available is going to improve England at all. The 2 things that I think he did wrong was subbing off Bukayo Saka, because he was having a fucking joyous old time down the right side, because Tio Hernandez is one of the worst defenders I've ever seen in my life. Trent Alexander-Arnold would have been a defensive upgrade to what Tio Hernandez was doing.
In all defense, Sterling made him look just as bad too. But then, of course,
Saka
when
has
you're a
been at the
ham on the defense,
But it's not even that. It's not even just that. Sterling had to fly home because of a very stressful and very bad home situation with the armed burglary of his home. He's been absent from the team for 3 or 4 days. Not a problem. I fully respect his decision to go take care of his family. That's great. And I'm glad that he made it back to the tournament. But in footballing terms, he hasn't been here for 4 days. He hasn't trained. He's not been part of the team. He's not been part of the build-up and watching film and doing all that kind of stuff, right? Saka has. And Saka was cutting up. Put Sterling in for Foden if you want to. Put Sterling in for Henderson. Drop Kane to a 10 and go to a 2 up front.
Yeah.
And have Kane fill the void in the middle. Have Declan Rice and Bellingham behind him instead.
Yeah.
Don't sub off arguably the best player on the field for your team in Bukayo Saka. And that's what I thought he was, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Then, Harry Kane. I understand he's the best penalty taker on the team. Very much should have been given the responsibility as he was for the first penalty. Great. The second penalty. You got to come into your thought process that goalkeeper has seen him train for the last 10 years as a teammate of his at Tottenham Hotspur.
Mm-hmm.
They take pens against each other at the end of every single training session. And if you think for a second that the pressure of him going, I already hit the one where he knew I was going, and it psyched Lloris out because he dove the wrong way, thinking, I know where he goes, so I'm going to do the other thing. He tried to do too much.
And Kane tried to go to the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
He tried to go to the same
But
spot.
he tried to elevate it.
Yeah.
Tried to hit that top corner and got it wrong.
And honestly,
I argue
Sterling's a great penalty taker. You could have put Sterling right in that situation.
Exactly.
You had,
Foden has taken penalties before. He was still in the field, I think.
Rashford was on the pitch.
Rashford takes penalties. Henderson, I think,
was already off.
But Mason Mount takes penalties for Chelsea sometimes. Declan Rice takes penalties for West Ham.
Harry Maguire takes fucking penalties from time to time, and he's fucking nailed them every time he's taken one.
Yeah, but Gareth knows that he's staked his reputation, and he's doing well enough.
Yeah.
Can't. If it was Maguire that missed it, Gareth Southgate would be burned at the fucking stake like he was a witch in 1650.
He had other options, and what you don't do, like we say, you don't have the guy who got fouled take the penalty because he's still in his head
about it.
The foul.
Same
Don't have
principle,
the same guy take the
second penalty.
No, he doesn't need to.
He already did his job. Put it on somebody else. Because you have the added... You know who really should have taken a penalty? If I really was a stickler, it should have, without a doubt, been on Jude Bellingham's back. He's the only player that was on that field that doesn't play in England. Hugo Lloris does not play against him week in, week out.
No idea who the fuck he is.
Has no fucking clue where he goes.
No idea where he's going to go.
It should have been on Jude Bellingham, and that is a big mistake by Gareth Southgate, in my opinion.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, England,
I think it was still a progression from the Euros, and England went to the final because they actually scored goals. They played expansive football in this tournament, something Gareth Southgate's not done in previous tournaments that he's been in charge of. So I still think it's progression, even though they had an earlier exit than the previous two. I still think, and I still contend with the youth of the squad in general, the only person really not going to be there is Harry Kane and Jordan Henderson.
Yeah, that's
everybody else is young enough that they should be there in 2026.
There's plenty of people to bring on. There's plenty more to bring on.
Now that gambling is legal in Maryland, I'm going to see how early they put it up for the Euros. Probably be right after qualifications done for the futures, the winners. I'm going to put $25 on England to win the Euros.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'd still say going into
all of those players. You have Jude Bellingham in 2 years' time will be 21 with all of this experience because he's now going to be an England mainstay. You know what I mean? Like that just, and then 2026. That's 4 years from now. He'll be 23, right in the prime of his career. And he was already doing what he was doing? Come on.
2026, I can already say, like, there's two teams that I feel very comfortable saying.
Eddie Nketiah leading the line.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
No other English strikers alive, apparently.
Ivan Toney is who it'll be.
If he's available.
Yeah, that's if he doesn't
keep his fucking
else.
credit card in his pocket.
That's true.
Stop gambling on shit.
Let's try not to bet on fucking World Cup games.
Yeah.
Now, here, for me, there's two teams going into 2026 that I can already say this World Cup's not over, and I already consider favorites in 2026. It's Brazil and it's England.
Yep.
Because I think they aren't losing any. If they lose pieces, they're pieces that are easily replaced, and that they're deep. I mean, they're stupid deep.
I think England had the best bench at the tournament.
Yeah, I mean,
And that includes Brazil. I think England had the best bench of the tournament.
and here's the thing:
Brazil's players are better, man for man, in the first 16 or so. But in the full 25-man or 26-man roster, I think England had the best squad throughout.
James Madison didn't get a single fucking minute in this
I
tournament.
did get hurt right before the tournament, though. And I thought he was going to be fit.
You know?
Yeah.
I didn't get a single fucking minute.
But you got Callum Wilson, you got Ivan Toney, you got so many people that could be.
Yes. Absolutely the case. God forbid Calvert-Lewin's healthy and goes to a bigger club and puts up. And let's say he goes to like a fucking like an Arsenal type or Chelsea and scores 20. You don't think he's not going to be England's number one?
Well, you have Tammy Abraham as well, that scoring goals in Rome. He's still pretty young himself.
There's still
plenty of talent, absolutely. Yeah. And then you look at some of the back line, and you got that kid for AC Milan. Mm-hmm. You got Tyreek Mitchell at Palace and a couple others as well that could be brought into the fold sooner rather than later.
Mark Gui at Palace as well.
Gui, yep.
You know, there are.
Is it Tomori? Is it Tomori that's at AC Milan?
Yeah, it's Tomori.
I think it's Tomori. Yeah.
Milan. So there's plenty of talent. And I think those two clubs are clearly the best two clubs looking forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the final thing I wanted to mention is we've already hinted at it, but Giroud, the hero, you know, getting the big goal with the right opportunity. You know what? Big man does all the dirty work, all the time, and then there's the opportunity for him to be the hero, and he's the fucking hero. Why is he the fucking hero? Because he does all the dirty work all the time.
He's got a lot of karma in the bank.
He wins his team a World Cup without scoring a goal in the last World Cup and does all the fucking thankless work. And all these people are like, well, he didn't score, so what of a striker is he? Well, he's the one who made sure that all the people around him got opportunities.
Another
to
Tunisian quote.
Yeah, exactly. The other one that needs to be mentioned, Hugo Lloris has had a shit tournament. A shit tournament. His defense did not turn up for him. You know who turned up for fucking France that day?
Hugo Lloris.
Hugo Lloris was fucking massive.
Did.
There's games where you and why when we talk about Cole, when we were talking about the whole attitude of you're not necessarily at your best, but you find a way to win. And even dumbass across the way will agree. Those games are typically because your goalie decided to have a fucking day.
Yep.
Your key there's been games where DU's not played well, and Daddy had himself a game in the fucking net, and we won. And it doesn't happen a lot. It's more than often not. It's the team doing it, but there's days where you're not going to be on, and your keeper just goes, nope, not scoring. Nope, not gonna happen.
I'll take care of it today, guys. Don't worry about it.
I got you, boys. Y'all have been doing it for the last 60 matches. Let me take care of this one. And that was precisely what Hugo Lloris did, and it was beautiful to watch. Again, this was the perfect billboard to anyone that wants to get into this sport. That was the fucking match right there. That is two of the best doing their best, because there's not many mistakes in it. Like Sam said, very few mistakes in it. They just fucking played their asses off, both sides, and it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. Well said, Sam.
Pardon me. That crept up weird. Sorry. I'm back. It's a great game.
All right, now it's time to get into the deep dive conversation. The whole reason why we brought Cole here. It's time to talk about your sexuality, girl.
I'm ready for it.
All right, so what we're going to do is...
Who is going to be the seal to your outer fandom? That's what we want to know. What club are you going to just roll up on and take over and dominate?
He's not going to walk away from that one.
Nope. Because it's funny.
He strongly identifies with this metaphor. You know how earlier we were talking about maybe we should just check in on people when things start, like, should we just check in on Carly? Like,
Well, we did equate him to an otter, which is an otter in a certain community.
oh yeah, in certain circles.
And Graham took that as a compliment and said, "I'm gonna fucking run with this shit, man. I just got between the guard and the tackle. I see nothing but green grass, and Daddy's fucking running for the end zone. Let's go!"
I mean, how often does it line up where a certain stereotype or identity within a community that I guess represents me falls in line with something in the animal kingdom so perfect?
And by the way, this is where English football Twitter has you. You just came up with an American football analogy for that.
Oh, I'm perfectly
on a Premier League show.
You thought that was on accident?
You can't say like this is similar to the third over on the fourth test day.
I could say this is like when, a seal just made it out of the teeth of a great white.
Oh, what a terrible thing to come back to.
Oh my God.
You'd be so stoked that you survived, and then you just see the otter on the shore.
just cracking a little urchin with his little, floating on his back, eating, looking all cute,
licking his spikes on a blowfish. Just getting stoned. You ready for that, big boy?
Want some? Get some.
I want some, and I'm getting it.
All right, so Cole,
or you could stay in there with the shark, bitch. Pick one.
Chomp chomp.
Yeah.
Like the tossed salad guy in prison. It's like, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Or what Ron White said? Yeah, but you're gonna run out of jelly.
Half baked. Give me your cup, fruit.
Prepared to be wooed.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. Jesus. Oh.
Then you have the other piece to the other side to this thing that's also quite funny, where in my head the seal is named Sammy. Because for me the rule is
stop it.
Listen, the seal has to be the animal needs to be named with a letter that starts its animal species.
So there's
that's
Stuart,
Oscar the otter.
Steve.
Like that has to do.
Okay,
His thing makes me mad.
How about it's Sammy the sea otter?
Hold on here.
I don't know about. I think C is null and void there because it's an otter. It's a type of otter.
Jokes for a roast. Graham's name now is Oscar.
I think because the overall genome is otter, so it has to be O.
Gotcha.
Is what I would say. Because I'm not. If it's a river otter, it can't be Ronald the river otter. No, it's still an O.
Rick, come on.
I'm out.
Oh, there's a porn right there. Coming to the stage, Rick, the river otter.
And we're going right back into the show. Let's do this now. And we're driving, and we're driving.
Yeah. Come on, Miss Daisy, get on it. Steer the ship.
So, Cole, the last time we chatted, you had 5 sides, and unfortunately, you decided to move on from Wolverhampton, which I would say was a wise choice. They have changed managers, so you may see an uptick in the team, but I think at the end of the day, they're in
Ooh,
trouble.
you hit the rescue button like they have on The Bachelorette or whatever, where you could bring someone back that you previously let go. And maybe it was like on the cusp.
So I just want to quickly
You
name
won't. It's Julian
the
Lopetegui.
4
He's a terrible manager.
The 4 teams that I kind of have you on, but if there's anybody that I'm missing or anybody that you want to talk about, feel free to bring that up. But it was Brentford, Dean Henderson, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace,
Yes.
or you're hopelessly addicted to Mel Aston Villa.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the four. That's
Those
the
were the
four
four.
clubs.
Mhm.
Nobody else that is. Was there anybody from the last time we talked that kind of sparked interest or anything at all, or just you're still pretty content, kind of keeping with these four sides?
Last time I was on, I thought that maybe it would be like the Hotspurs, but then there were some threats leveraged my
Yeah.
way, and so I immediately dropped that. So this time,
If you say Liverpool, you could just fucking leave right now. You could just door gone by
watching
segment
the
over.
Liverpool games.
But we've got two other people who are interested in doing this segment. If you say Liverpool, you're replaced. Just saying.
Yeah, no, fuck those guys. So no, yeah, it's just been those four. And I mean, like with the World Cup matches, I have been watching the matches for those four teams, but especially the ones that feature both teams.
Very
so,
good. Very
been
good.
doing a little bit of double duty.
All right, so then I'm going to kind of go down the list here, and you kind of talk about those teams in particular. We're going to go ahead and start with Brentford.
So Brentford, I have said this in the other segments that I've been in, but they are just a lot of fun to watch. I like the team effort that all of the players bring to the pitch when they come into the match. Like, everybody knows what their role is, and they all work with such synergy throughout the match. One of the other things that I like about Brentford that we'll talk about a little bit later is the ability to make that second effort, that third effort, that fourth effort. It's like they are just that lion that has hunted down that gazelle. They are not going to give up.
Brentford's always in a match. You can definitely say that about them.
Why are we
always
changing the animal reference?
You know why.
I mean, this was a perfect opportunity to compare Brentford to Otters and Manchester United to Seals. Because Brentford gave it to them and Manchester United didn't want it.
They sure did.
Now, this happened just before the World Cup, but Sam, why don't you kind of lean into what has happened with Ivan Toney? Because it got buried because the World Cup, but let's face it, there are repercussions that Brentford, Toney, and the league are going to have to come back to, which are very serious.
It also happened to your lookalike back in the day. Remember during the Arsenal game in that FA Cup match, that famous
Oxford
FA
United.
Cup match. Yeah, no,
Suffolk United.
Salford.
Yeah, United.
Something. Whatever, whoever it was,
The
it doesn't matter.
groundskeeper slash third
janitor slash third goalkeeper.
slash number one pie eater.
He had a friend. Who put a bet in, and they gave him one of the bookies gave him odds on it that he wouldn't need a pie on the side.
I do like a good pie.
Yeah, and he leant against the dugout in that game and ate a pie on the sideline, and his friend hit his bet, but he knew about it. So it's a problem and illegal, and he got banned for 6 months from all footballing activities by the FA because he was akin to insider betting. He could affect the outcome of bets. And all professional footballers know this. Anyone that has a contract within football knows this. You cannot bet on games. Pete Rose knew this when he played, okay? Should still be in the Hall of Fame, don't get me wrong. But he knew that he wasn't supposed to be doing what he was doing. This happened to a couple other players as well, but Ivan Toney placed a few hundred bets over the span of a few years through himself, through friends, through family. And as a footballer, you are not allowed to do that. And that's part of your contract. That's part of the code of ethics or whatever of the FA. I mean, if there is. Start with a sport governed by FIFA in general. Real rich for banning people for betting on football, to be honest with you. But he's probably going to receive a 4-month ban, and he won't be allowed to train. He won't be allowed to have contact with his team, with his coaches, with anyone. So he makes a lot of money. I'm sure he'll have a personal trainer that he'll hire, blah, 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 to keep himself in good nick.
And while Wepu is a hell of a player, it's not the tip of your spear.
Nope.
And you are losing the guy, like the next penalty that comes up. who's fucking taking it. Because
Right.
for the last 3 years,
It's been Ivan
him.
Toney, yeah.
It's been him.
Now, he came out and said prior to the work, just after the squad was announced, that this had nothing to do with it, but the information, the story dropped about 12 hours after Gareth Southgate named a squad and left Ivan Toney out. So I would probably venture to say that they did know about it, and this was important because if the disciplinary hearings happened quickly enough, he would have been banned in the middle of the World Cup and would not have been allowed to participate. So you just burned a squad spot,
Right, because you don't get to you don't get to replace that
Correct.
player. You're just fuck
stuck.
You're minus a guy.
So it's a shame. He knew the rules. He fucked up. Do I think the rules should change a bit? Yeah, I think they should take into account what you betted on. If you could really have an influence in that.
Right.
But the rules are there. They've been broken before. They have been equally punished or more severely punished. This happened to Joey Barton at the end of his career. Ultimately, why he retired. He was banned for 13 months or something like that, 18 months, something like that, because he placed, it was about triple what Ivan Toney did. They found him in a violation about 1,203 times or something like that.
Wow.
Ivan Toney, I think, was 280 something. So it was a little over 3 times more for Joey Barton, and he got just under 3 times less time of a suspension.
Right.
So it is par for the course. I don't think there's any real issue with it, but in terms of the punishment, the rules are there to be done. I think they should be looked at personally, but it is what it is.
So here for you though, as becoming interested in the team, that here is now a real hardship.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
let's see how you view this team during this hardship. How do they respond to this hardship? Because
When his mugshot gets released, you fall in love with him like that Welsh dude that rims people. I mean, his name is Rimmer. Sorry, his name's Rimmer.
But here's the thing is that is you.
They should do football mugshots. If you get sent off, you should have a mugshot taken with a red card next to you. I think that'd be brilliant.
So
I'd like to see that introduced.
So, and Sam will tell you this. You love your team in the successes. You really love your team in the down times. You're even more supportive. You're even more behind them. So that'll be one of the things that if it speaks to you, if you find yourself like really fucking behind,
That's
it's like,
true.
you'll
Everything he's
be-
saying is true until you log into Twitter. And then all that goes out the window and you just become a fucking cesspool of an individual. Fuck these guys. You just go nuts. You don't know what you're talking about. You can't.
Hey, she's
Like I'm gonna support my team. It's like you're such an
No, this team's a piece of shit. I hate them.
she's not British. It'll be okay.
You change your profile picture to
be
Jack
okay.
Grealish or something.
All right. Let's move on to your favorite goalie and the man that you want to give you children.
And the one that's not going to be there next season when they get relegated.
Right, exactly. When he goes back to Man United.
I'm surprised, honestly, this team is still in here, to be fair.
Henderson. It's okay. It'll be all right.
I'm surprised this team is still in here, to be honest.
Yeah.
Dean Henderson will not be their goalkeeper next season once they get relegated.
You know what? No, and I have never.
And that's the
hidden-
only reason you like them.
I have never hidden the fact that I worship at the altar of Dean Henderson. I have never, at any point in time, tried to say, "Oh yeah, I love Nottingham Forest. It's the best team." Nope. I've been very honest.
She was very impressed by an Englishman doing Billy Joel lyrics, and then Dean Henderson saved a couple penalties, and she went, "Ooh,
I told you.
Who's this sailor?" What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
I told you the
I
other
mean, for
thing.
what it's worth,
is Dean Henderson.
Gibbs White could get it too.
Dean Henderson is part of that group of goalkeepers that look like they're headed to the library after the game's over on a moped.
I'm okay with that.
I
likes
know
them that
you're a
way.
scientist. I know.
She likes them
you
that
like
way.
Rue, hashtag reading. You know, I get it. Fuck all that shit.
That's another show title.
What I'm saying is that there's this certain subset of specifically goalkeepers for some reason, and Mason Mount, that just look like they're gonna hop on a moped with their stupid little helmet on and go to the library after a game like the nerds that they are. And it's Dean Henderson, Wolches Chesney, and Mason Mount.
So,
And then there's other people like Ederson that look like they're gonna go sell smack
I would say
outside
it
of the stadium when the game's done.
sounds like a little bit of the shine's worn off with this
I-
side.
am just writing down the name. You said Mason Mount. Who are the other?
He's with
Mason
Chelsea.
Mount plays for Chelsea. Yeah. But he's
that
another little.
explains why I'm okay. Never mind.
He's another little dweeb.
Sorry.
Hashtag reading.
Did I say that a little too unenthusiastic?
Did you see the
Chelsea,
Clean cut white boy, right up your alley.
Never mind Chelsea.
Did you? Yeah. Did you see the video?
Racism.
Did you see the video that was going around a while back of the Reading Rainbow theme song cut in with DMX?
Oh my
No,
God,
I
no!
Yeah, but it's the real Reading Rainbow theme song. But you know DMX was very famous for the gruffly like "come on" like in the middle. Yeah. Right. It's like Reading Rainbow. And
It's gonna give it to you.
it's so good. But there's one that's like, take a look. It's in a book. Reading Rainbow. Suck my dick. It's so fucking funny. I gotta find it for you. It's
Oh my God,
so
yes,
good.
please do.
It's so good.
Please.
It's like when he did his acapella rendition of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was brilliant. R.I.P.
So,
R.I.P.
it would appear a little of the shine's worn off, right? I mean, it's you like watching them at home when they win that 1-0 kind of match, that big kind of emotional thing. Dean makes big saves, but where are you beyond that?
I mean, so it did hurt a little bit when they played Crystal Palace. Not gonna lie, was really conflicted during that match.
Gotcha.
It was
Had feelings.
I had feelings. It was the first inkling that maybe I might not be all in for the Forest.
Well then let's take it to the next team then. Palace. Did you in that match? Did you find yourself a little more gravitated towards what Palace was doing and how Palace was playing?
I did. Yeah. I definitely. Crystal Palace plays a little more aggressively. I definitely thought that Lady Luck is the 23rd player here for Nottingham. But like it's one of those things where Crystal Palace should have pulled it out. They ended up losing 1-0 and
You're watching it going, the wrong team lost.
Yeah.
The only thing I could think of is when did they sign Lady Luck? Was that their 400th signing of the summer, or
Okay, you know what? It probably
is it a
was.
pre-contract thing for January? I'm confused.
I mean, looking at it
She's
from the other
gonna
side,
become a free agent and she'll be a summer signing, but she's allowed to shop herself now.
looking at it from the other side, it was very exciting to watch. It was very exciting for a lot of reasons, not just because it would have been, 20 some odd years that Nottingham won that game. And it would have been very exciting for Crystal Palace if they had won like 3 in a row. Like it would have just been really great from both ends. I found myself again very conflicted when I was watching.
What you do have a good thing of this being your short list is no one can accuse you of being a glory hunter.
No.
Because collectively they've all won nothing in the last 30 years.
Well, and if there's a team within these 4, I would say the one that is trending up
Is Palace. Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Great young squad, great young coach. That coach may not be there much longer.
The problem, what I was just about to say, is the problem's going to be for Palace if they can't turn a bit of a corner before Arsenal or City need a coach.
That man's going to go coach Arsenal or City.
That man will go coach Arsenal or City, and Palace may be left in the middle of the project, which is the worst time for a manager to take over.
Because that's when it completely falls apart. Because that's been, honestly, a lot of Everton's problem is that they bring in a new manager, he gets everything going, and then it just falls apart and they fire him. And then the next guy comes in and it falls apart and they fire him. And the next guy, and then they're kind of left in this situation where they're looking back and they're going, wow, Frank has guys that were signed when Martinez
Allardyce
was the fucking manager. Like,
Because they
how
can't
is he-
move him on.
How is he expected to fucking be
I think
successful?
Moshiri is probably the worst negotiator in world football.
Oh,
Hands down.
what's that? 250 million you want? Sure thing. Let me write that check.
Sign it.
I can write that one right away. And then going on to the last one, Aston Villa. To my understanding, you went on a little date with my wife to the Queen Vic
What?
to see a match.
What? Yes,
I mean,
I did that.
I'm
yeah,
not.
no,
I'm definitely not
I will
bribing her
not
with
deny.
breakfast. English roast and
English roast
all.
and like full 16-ounce pints at 9 a.m. No,
that's the
that's
best
not the
part.
way to my heart at all.
That's the best part.
And
You know,
also, like, right around the corner from where you live, too. That's, like, right,
around
in
the
your
corner from where I
neighborhood.
live.
it's not a far drive for
I
me.
don't
Not
even
at all.
have to leave Northeast. It's all in the same little.
Oh yeah. And I like going there. I like Keith. I like I like sitting there. It's always good when there's more people there. It was just a few of us last time, but like I said, Keith, president of the was it Capital Villains? I don't remember.
It's Capital
Yeah,
Villains.
yeah.
Good
And
dude.
the whole family. Like, it's a family affair. I
Oh
love
yeah,
that.
the kids all belly up to the bar. Literally, we were up at the bar with the kids.
Yep.
How did you enjoy the pub experience at a supporter pub? Like, watching, not with a ton of people, but still watching with like-minded supporters.
It was a big influence
Yeah.
on how I thought about what my team was going to be. Like, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. There was one point in the game where we're all like at the bar, but I look over at Mel and I look over at Keith, and like we're all like leaning over, intently watching the screen at the same time. It was just like
Might be
it was-
some group texts
There might-
with me and Nicole and Your Highness.
Oh, yeah, of course,
yeah,
of course.
absolutely. So yeah, the camaraderie of it and just enjoying watching
Yeah.
games with other people.
I got to take
Like,
her to the Abbey.
That aspect.
Just to
that's
get the
not
experience.
fair.
Yeah. Even if
That's-
I'll be
okay.
very honest. No, getting you into Arsenal.
No,
at
I'm not
all.
even trying to do that. I just want you to have the experience of it.
Oh, that would be
You
awesome.
need
Yeah.
to come with, and I'll come as
I'm
well. Go to
jealous.
the Abbey.
Let's do that.
We've talked
I'm
about
all
that
about
before.
that,
How
yeah.
jealous I am about. Even the Everton's got some like a nice group of people. There's not a lot of villains.
Charm
Right.
City Gooners.
We fucking
are
come correct.
Fucking
Yeah.
proper.
We fucking come correct.
Oh, okay.
proper.
I gotta get you up for one of the big games too, like a
It's
Liverpool
just-
or a
it's
Chelsea
fun.
or a.
Yes,
I gotta get you up
yes,
for.
yes.
I gotta get you up.
It's fun to watch.
It's a good. It's a good day out.
It was fun to watch as the enemy in the room for a Arsenal Everton match.
'cause
that
also-
we scored first in.
Yeah.
That I'm the only person that went, yeah.
Because
The
also,
whole room went,
besides that, you know enough of us,
yeah,
right, in the room. You're friendly enough with some of my compatriots,
yeah.
that it was like dead silent. We were all like, "Fuck," and then it was silent. Somebody just goes, "Fuck you, Sam." It was like, "What?"
Kiss.
I didn't do it. He starts
sorry,
blowing
boys,
kisses.
sorry.
Yeah, it's just brilliant.
But I've also been in that room with them while they played a Europa final. And
Yep.
when I was there, it's like, I'm red today, boys. I'm red to fucking day.
Yeah.
Let's go. Come on, let's win
I
a
can
fucking
see Simon going,
win a
Sam,
title.
ready, here's my Simon impression. Sam Houston, I love you, but you have to leave.
Kind of spot on. That's right there.
That's not bad, actually.
That's right there.
That is not
Think you're great.
bad.
I love you, but you're going to have to go. Well, there was a point in time where the Liverpool president started making some noise. I started making some noise. And
Everybody was like,
Simon
"Hey,
noticed
shut the fuck up."
Simon very
Yeah.
loudly just went, "Remember the fucking pub you're in." Yep, you're right, Simon. I'm going to shut the fuck up right now.
Yeah.
Good call.
There was one time I can't remember if it was a Chelsea dude or a Tottenham dude. It might have been one of each. Came in after one of our derbies, one of the London derbies. I don't remember what it was, and the result wasn't great. I think it was a draw. Might have been West Ham or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they came in talking shit. It was like 3 of them total, and there was 100 of us because it was a derby day. And I got the entire pub, both floors, going, "Who are ya? Who are ya? Who?" And just drowning them out. They were just like, "Fuck, smell it." Must have felt like ants.
Yeah.
Just everybody on their back. It was fucking great. It's like 100, probably 115, 120 of us, and we jammed both floors of the pub.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like if you
Wow.
cut, it's not 15 people at the end of the bar, and like that's you got to come up for the
It's a
experience.
full
we go upstairs. You don't. Downstairs is perfectly fine, but upstairs is where it's at.
Okay.
We need to be there 30, 40 minutes before the
Make
match.
sure you get a seat.
Okay.
It will be. Elbow
I just want you to have the experience of
elbow.
a full bumping place.
Yeah.
You know,
And-
elbow to elbow, fucking
and that
can't get a
upstairs-
drink for 20 minutes. Just like
That upstairs
all the
bar is probably
it's
2 of these rooms.
That's
fucking
awesome.
great.
This
Yeah.
room together twice, probably double this room.
Okay.
And it is elbow to elbow, and
Yeah.
it's fun. It's fun, but
That would be outstanding. Because, I mean,
And I like I'm not even trying to sell you Arsenal because the
Right,
club
right.
has the club identity has nothing to do with what we do in the pub. But I want you to have the experience of that just fucking and everybody's zombie just
hey, shit, I
brilliant.
want you to go to the other 2 abbeys and see fucking a Newcastle and
And a
Mount
West
Vernon,
Ham,
or
yeah.
see a West Ham in
Fells Point.
Fells Point. Like
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I go have fun in Baltimore. I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Or go have fun at the Queen Vic when it's not your team playing. I'm not going to have anything to do with it.
I feel like for these experiences, I have to go to Chicago and hang out with the Chicago villains. 'Cause
You really
there's
do.
some big groups out there, just
Yeah.
not in this area. And I wear my Villa shit out all the time. I've never had a person stop me on the street and go,
like,
"Ooh."
hey, a Villa supporter.
No,
Honestly,
it's just not out here, and it's depressing.
Mel, when we go back to Chicago and visit our uncle, one of the things we definitely need to do is if like the next time where you were playing a primetime game, that would have been a perfect time to drive into the city and go watch that match
Oh, I'd
at noon.
love to meet Simon Leach
Yeah.
and all the people out there in Chicago. They seem to have so much fun. And at least I have the camaraderie of the Villa Facebook group, the North American group. They're a bunch of good people.
Yeah, so
you got the camaraderie of Malort out there too.
Well, they do it on purpose.
I know when you win,
Yeah, they
which
do
isn't
it on.
often. Damn,
I haven't had to do Malort in a
You
while.
know what?
that was me talking shit.
It was.
Hashtag Bance.
World Cup break. None of us had to do Malort in a while.
Taking on a little bit more of that otter
I
personality.
feel like I haven't had Malort in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
I know.
right.
Glorious.
Don't worry, he'll still have more than you this season.
So Cole, we're gonna have one last question for you here as we look at these 4. Are you still fully committed to everybody, or are you ready to move on from someone and go down to 3 sides?
So I am ready to say goodbye
Okay.
to one side in particular.
Okay. Who's it gonna
It
be?
has been a really great journey, but I think it's time. Nottingham Forest.
Oh my God!
I knew it.
Nottingham
I knew
Forest.
it.
Dino is gone.
Dean Henderson. I love
Dino
you still.
is gone.
I'll be on a different team next year.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He won't, unfortunately, knock on wood, he won't be on Villa because we got fucking Emmy.
Good.
We have the potential of having a World Cup champion goalie on
Yes.
Aston Villa. I
Yes.
fucking love Emmy Martinez so much. I love his shithousery. I love that he shaved the sides of his head and had a little flag painted on there, and he's that kind of a
You
dork.
want to know what I love most? Is that when I watch the matches, indubitably, one of the announcers will say Martinez, and it brings joy to my heart. I can't even begin to explain why. I'm just like,
Well, at the other mat, he kept saying Emmy's for like Emiliano, and I'm like, who?
who the hell is
Yeah,
that?
I've never used his full name.
Emiliano
Right.
hasn't made a single stop tonight. We'll see how he does in penalty kicks. I'm like, oh,
Right.
yeah, you will.
Yeah, you will.
That was
How's his balls
fun.
taste?
That was fun watching her while we're watching. She's like, let it go to penalties.
Like,
Let it
She
go.
has to
Let it go to
actually go,
penalties.
fucking let it go to penalties.
oh,
I dare
that
you.
other guy's like 7 feet tall. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Save-
matter.
Save the first one. She's like, yeah, fuck you, commentators. And then it happens again. She goes, I fucking told you. I fucking told you.
Yeah, but Emmy scored.
And then his little dance.
Veghorst scored 3.
Yeah.
But also on the Villa side, can we talk about Ollie Watkins?
Oh God, I love Ollie.
I love. Okay, but who did Ollie used to be with?
Brentford.
Brentford.
Bradford. Florida.
And he's adorable.
So
He is
again,
adorable.
talking about that like second effort, third effort, fourth effort, the dude does not stop.
No.
I am here for it,
No.
but that's also why
Ollie
Brentford is
was
still in my
close
number
to
one.
making the England squad this year.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
close.
He'll be next time. He'll be up there next time.
Yeah.
I love Tyrone Mings. I mean, I,
I
can
love
just go, I
Tyrone
can go down the
Mings,
list.
John McGinn.
Fuck, I love John McGinn.
All right, let's stop talking about the man's ass.
I mean, that's
Wait, what?
Hold on. By the way,
His thick thighs.
His ass is
I
his
like
ass
those
is
big,
here,
juicy,
and his
I
eyes
like
are up
thighs.
here, right here, not that far.
John McGinn.
If you look about a foot higher from his ass, you'll see his eyes.
John McGinn.
Look up.
John McGinn is thick with 3 C's.
Yes. With
All right.
3 C's.
So,
But his face looks like an alien.
Although,
as you move on,
do you know who my biggest crush is on Aston Villa? Oh, that 50-year-old man, Danny Ings.
Definitely, I could
Know
see
what
that.
it is. I want him to be my daddy.
It's either it was gonna be so. I had
all in
torn
on Danny Ings.
I had torn in my head Danny Ings or Douglas Luiz.
Yeah. Oh God, I fucking love Douglas.
Who
Luiz,
doesn't
too.
love a samba boy?
yeah,
Yeah.
They got the hip action. Come on.
Oh God, yeah.
And it doesn't even matter if he's got a tiny one because it's all about the
Even
motion,
without
right?
Jack Grealish, we got.
That's what my wife says.
the beauty is as you move on from Nottingham Forest,
Yeah.
if Hendo saves a penalty,
Yeah.
that'll be a highlight.
Yeah.
And you can share that quick 30 seconds of a highlight, just you and Dino and a glass of wine.
Sure money.
All right, it is Shore Money. This is the part of the show when we make bets to better inform you about your bets.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't sense the sarcasm, that's your fault.
Mm.
'Cause it is no go so well. For me, at least. I'm down. I
Y'all
lost
were cocky
again.
last week.
Spain happened. It's not training. You don't get a goal for every 10 passes you complete. Dickheads.
Oh no.
So I'm down. What is this? The third one for the World Cup? So I'm down 300.
Have you
Or is
done
this
multiple
or is
bets?
it-
Or
no,
were you-
I've only
everything
done
was-
one each time. A parlay
Okay.
each time.
Very good. So
Yeah.
300.
So that's done. So I'm down 300. What are you got going on your end there, sir?
All right. So I missed because France did advance, but Mbappe did not score. So I am now down $158.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
I know the ladies love round numbers. So, Cole, 25% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
Ow, ow.
Girls love it, man. What can I say? And I'm doing
then
better
I'm
than
down
you.
400 if it's been 4.
You know, here's the key thing. Here's the
Shit.
key thing, Mr. Graham, is there's Malort in your future, not mine, because I'm gonna hit and you're not, and it's gonna be okay.
Just
You're gonna
wait.
do a shot on Malort.
You'll see.
what? 257 possible things need to go right in order for you to hit your
No, I'm
bet to
betting $1
win?
million on it. What's the difference?
Okay, heard. Bet million. Fucking asshole. All right. I am going very simple. I am bullish on this. I said it at the start of the show. Croatia to beat Argentina. The beauty of FanDuel, this bet counts for regular time, extra time, or penalties. They actually had that disclaimer on it.
To advance.
To it, but just picking them to win is considered in their eyes an advanced
for
bet.
this round?
Yeah,
Oh,
for this-
really?
yeah,
Because that's fucked me in the past already, this tournament.
I was specifically looking for an advanced bet because I think this is a extra time penalties kind of win. But that the bet actually even said it on FanDuel. So that is plus 205, which will put me just over in the positive, and I will win and you will lose and you will do a shot.
Okay, if you say so.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens. So it's a little late. Pat couldn't call in, but I have his email.
And
Excellent.
now it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
I apologize. We're not always perfect. Occasionally, I step on a sound cue. Fuck you all with your judgmental fucking stares.
Listen, Sammy the Seal, I got something to tell you.
Oh my god.
Prepare for the punishment, bitch. It's coming.
You go get a otter. Why don't you order a pizza correctly? Both of you shut the fuck up and keep it fucking moving.
Bringing the pain. And I quote, okay, I'm up to $800. Fuck you, Pat. Back into the segment. And for the last week, I'm betting on only one team and one game. I'm going to take
because Japan fucking over Spain.
Yeah. I'm going to take Morocco all the way, baby. I'll take them right now to win it all for plus 1,100 on a $100 bet. So $1,100.
And he loses, he's fucking up 700. So who cares? Go
right.
for it.
Sadly, a lot of people are now out of winning any money in the pool. That includes me, but it's a close race between two players for first place, Heath and Firehawk. Both had two different teams to win it all, so it should be interesting. And somehow Firehawk had Morocco into the semifinals.
That
Very
is
well
exactly
done.
what I was about to say. Firehawk got 3 of the 4 semifinalists correct.
Whoa.
And the one was Morocco. You would have, if you would have said, you got 3 of the 4 semifinalists correct, everybody would say, the one you got wrong was Morocco. No,
was Brazil.
Brazil's the one he got wrong.
Yeah, but so
Good job,
I have 2 of the semifinalists correct.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2. I might have had 3 of the semifinalists correct, but I have Brazil winning it all.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I only have one chance to get this one right.
I love
So I'm out.
I had France in just about everything, but I think I don't have France winning it. So
Yeah, I had Brazil winning the whole tournament, not Argentina. I had Brazil, Argentina in the final.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, I did a few stupid things. I had England winning it. I had USA
I had Brazil beating
England.
Argentina. They would have been in the
Final.
semis together.
Like,
They
I
would
had-
have been in the semis together.
Right.
I had Brazil beating Argentina.
Yeah. I did stupid shit. I had like USA beating fucking Brazil to fucking face England in the final. I just went crazy.
Nice.
To be silly. Just to be silly. It didn't matter. It's
Just take 20,
That's what he
20
says
bucks
now.
and light it on fire.
It's a fucking
had all
20.
those hit, he'd be like, yeah, taste my balls, bitch. But no, it's like, I'm just a silly goose, y'all.
It's a fucking 20.
I'm just a silly seal.
Hey, look, me being silly, the chicken's still better than Christian, okay? So
Also, yeah.
and that's the one that picked USA to win the whole fucking thing was the fucking chicken.
Damn. So, all right. So,
Kentucky Fried.
they wouldn't let me build this parlay on my own, so I had to do a little math by myself.
Oh, okay. So it means it's not a parlay.
Famous last words.
Oh, it is a parlay. They just wouldn't allow me to parlay it online because it was a future in addition.
Oh, okay. You
Because
added the future.
it didn't have the final,
Got
obviously,
it. Added
not
the
set.
future.
So I added the future and I did my own math. So I had Argentina to win their semifinal. I have France to win their semifinal. And then I have Argentina to win the final.
Okay.
Okay. And the math
Bold
I
move,
did,
Cotton.
plus 500. So I'm going to put $200 on it because that's out of the norm for what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
If I lose and finish last, I'll throw in an extra shot of Malort on that show.
Fair enough.
Is that fair? I had to do my own math, number one.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And I'm betting 200 instead of 100, which we haven't done yet this tournament, to try to win it.
And I'm betting safe, thinking that even if I lose, I'm at minus 258 and you're not going to catch me.
Correct.
So very fair. Very fair.
That-
We're both playing gamesmanship.
Are we good?
You putting a second shot. I'm still one shot. If you catch me, I'm a one shot guy.
No, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
He has to do enough during the regular season.
The Lord only fucking knows.
Now, right. And because
get
I'm
another
picking
bottle or
Argentina
almost
in the
out.
spirit of Argentina, if I do still lose, I'm going to dive, complain, rip, roar. I'm sick. I can't do it. Too bad. Not happening. I'm only doing one. Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. Get out of my face. I'm going to gamesmanship my way through that show
I just
and
figured
not
you'd-
do a second shot
I
of Malort.
figured you'd come in here,
It's perfect.
do a handball, a line of coke, and walk out the fucking door. Diego fucking style. Dribble through fucking 11 people.
R.I.P. I got so many of them today.
R.I.P.
Oh my god, no, that would be great. But we have more. We have a chicken.
Well, Kitty got worked and sits at 4-7.
Not been a good World Cup for the chicken.
Nope. And
A lot of upsets have fucked her.
her only chance to beak even. See what I did there? Beak even. Her only chance to break even is to pick the semis and the final correctly. Oh, I don't think she's gonna do it though. Tuesday, she's taking Croatia to beat Argentina.
I think it's a smart bet.
That's because you bet that. And Wednesday, she's taking France to beat Morocco. I have the exact opposite happening. setting up for a repeat final. And Kitty's taking France to become the second time in a row World Cup champion.
Third in their history.
Which would then equal what Brazil has done as well. Not on total World Cup.
They're the only team to win it back-to-back.
Only team to win it back-to-back.
Except for the U.S. women.
Right. Yes, the U.S. women have won it
you.
back-to-back.
Appreciate that.
We're talking about the men's World Cup. Just the men's World Cup. That's all. Sorry.
I mean, it's so easy when they're fit and wear short shorts and stuff.
Do you know what else is easy? Remembering to gamble legally and responsibly.
Actually, that's quite hard.
Championship corner!
I was illegally gambling for a while.
And I can't get up. Oh, no.
That's good, because I'm going to say something stupid, but I'm going to save it for injury time.
Woo! That's why I pressed the button. Let's get out of that segment.
Wasn't that Sepp Blatter's thing to up back when he was FIFA president, to up the prominence and interest in women's football, they should wear shorter shorts and tighter shirts?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Can't keep a good man down. All right. The championship is back underway, and for some reason, we got a taste of a shit game on December 3rd. Not sure why. Sunderland beat Millwall 3-0 in the no one cares about my area derby.
We're the flyover country. We're the flyover states. I murdered that joke, but it would have been a lot better.
I know what you meant, and it's still good. So on the 10th of December, we resumed regular action where Preston beat Blackburn 4-1, Bristol City over Rotherham 3-1, Reading over Coventry 1-0. Birmingham and Blackpool played to an exhilarating 0-0 draw, I'm sure. Borough and Luton. Borough beat Luton 2-1. Millwall, I almost said Migan. Millwall tied Wigan 1-1. Sheffield United over Huddersfield 1-1. Stoke and Cardiff played to a 2-2 draw. So the championship's back to very exhilarating, exciting football. Fuck me.
It's what they do best.
All draws. And Norwich City,
Route 1.
right, beat Swansea 1-0 on the 11th of December. Burnley, Weghorst's Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
Beat QPR without him 3-0. Watford and Hull 0-0. And then on Monday, Sunderland lost 2-1 to West Brom. That leaves your table looking a little something like this. 22 fucking games played already in the championship.
Only 537 more to play.
Burnley are on top on 44 points. Sheffield United are in second on 41. Blackburn Rovers are in third on 36, but have a negative goal differential. Norwich City are in fourth on 35. Watford in fifth on 34. Preston North End, 5 goals back, also on 34 points in sixth place. Millwall are up to seventh on 32 points with a +1.
We don't want them to get
not
promoted,
really,
but we kind of do.
Well, so there's
Just so we can really hate them for a whole season.
yeah,
Like they could get the full vitriol of all of the world.
a lot of racist stuff happens at Millwall as well. Fine. Right? Don't like them. I could live without them. Whatever. In this country in particular, Green Street Hooligans is a really fucking good movie. And to have West Ham Millwall for one season,
Give us a West London.
I'll fucking deal with a couple racist fines, okay?
The real one.
I'll fucking deal with it.
God.
God.
Fine, okay? It's like that one friend that you didn't want to bring, but you knew there might be a fight. You're like, hey, just come along with me for just a day. Fine.
If a Millwall supporter
deal with it.
doesn't die in the Premier League year that they're there, it was a loss of a season.
Oh boy.
But remember, I mean, for all the racism, it actually probably played a part in it.
Fuck you, Millwall.
Fuck you, I'm Millwall. Yeah, the brown man walked in with a machete.
Brown man walked in with machete. I don't need no fucking machete. Fuck you, I'm Millwall. I'm going to take it away from you.
Yeah, and it could have, it probably would have been the same had he not had the machete, given Millwall's fandom history. But luckily he did, and so that guy's a hero. Anyway. In 8th place, Reading are also on 32 points, but they have a -6 goal differential. QPR in 9th on 31, as are Swansea in 10th place. So getting kind of tight in those last few playoff spots. Just a couple of points separating those teams. Down at the bottom of the table, you have Huddersfield in dead last Only 21 games played, though, where everybody else has played 22 for the most part in the league. Everyone's played 22. Huddersfield are on 19 points, 4 points behind Blackpool, who are in 23rd. Wigan are on 24 points in 22nd place, and Hull are in 21st on 25, as are Cardiff in 20th place on 25 points. Stoke City in 19th, not out of trouble yet, on 26 points, and Rotherham in 18th, and West Brom in 17th, also all
West Brom's goal today,
26 points.
Daryl DK goal. The American scored today and is healthy. That's going to be very, very important to their side.
Yep.
Boing boing.
The championship. The problem with the championship, they live by the philosophy. Put the big lad in.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the lineup. It's a bunch of big lads. No so fun to watch.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, Cole, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you had a lovely time.
I did. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. And Mr. Graham, any parting words?
Yeah, a couple. They both surround U.S. soccer. One very sad. One makes me kind of angry. The first one, obviously, Grant Wall passing away in Qatar. The U.S. soccer journalist, covered multiple sports, worked for Sports Illustrated for a number of years, was very outspoken, talked about and stood up for what he believed in. Reason he got fired from Sports Illustrated was because their parent company, he called out the CEO for some of their COVID cutbacks publicly. And that CEO responded in true Trumpian fashion of just firing him and then calling into disrepute a lot of his work and saying it was kind of shoddy and not very good, except for you employed him for 18 years or whatever it was. Yeah. So obviously very sad. He was complaining about bronchitis, as Mel disclosed on the Facebook that she found out, and was taking antibiotics in Qatar for that. He
And
obviously
cough syrup.
and cough syrup.
Yeah, which
Obviously in his role, his brother's also gay, and he did wear I don't know if it was a pride flag T-shirt, but it was a T-shirt that had a rainbow.
It was a rainbow
with a soccer ball.
with a
Was
soccer
it?
ball
Okay.
in the middle, and just said "love" on the back. Like, so it did not directly say anything
Right.
at all towards the
So-
community, but it was obviously towards. He was trying to slip one past the goal,
And he did.
you know, and he did. They
Yeah, he did.
ultimately
they
let him in.
detained him. They apologized,
for
and they got in.
20
and he got to
minutes or
work.
something, 25
But
minutes
they
or something like
ultimately
that.
let him in because
And
what is
someone
it's a
else
fucking
that day
rainbow
was-
flag that says love.
That
Like,
same day, I don't remember if he was German or Welsh, but there was another reporter detained for the same sort of reason, which was surprising because the Wales fans, the men, were allowed to do what they wanted. So I'm not sure,
yeah.
why he wasn't.
Oh.
Anyway, doesn't matter. But his brother, yeah,
We have a different set of rules.
of course, especially white ones. But he had. If you all can't
I mean,
sense,
not wrong.
if you can't sense the sarcasm
But yet
and,
wrong.
and the calling out the establishment in that statement, you're fucking deaf and blind.
Yeah.
Marjorie, that is what real satire is. Okay.
Anyway, the point is, his brother posted a video on Twitter saying that he absolutely thinks his brother was killed as a result of wearing the rainbow shirt. With the complaining about the illness, I'm not so sure. We all are kind of aware of, the flu, for instance, existing in multiple parts of the world separately from where we live. And catching the foreign version of something isn't always, it's usually harder to shake. It's usually more dangerous if you catch the foreign version of the same sort of disease.
And respiratory infections
especially
do increase the chance of a heart attack by a significant amount.
Especially when you reach a certain age, which he was in his 40s, and it was entirely possible that is the cause of death. I'm not calling out the state of Qatar for that, because we have documented evidence of them killing enough migrant workers. The
Excuse me, Sam, you didn't pronounce it correctly.
fuck Qatar.
Yeah.
The Qatar. But it still does not, regardless of the reason or the manner, it is still quite sad that such a prominent figure in U.S. soccer, such a prominent figure in making the game popular in this country, such a well-respected, brilliant, dare I say, journalist, that has passed away, and he will be forever missed. I remember as a child, as a late adolescent, as a young man, not really being able to find the material I wanted to read anywhere except his pen.
Yeah.
And he's going to be missed. He had the great idea to call out a lot of FIFA's corruption. He wrote very eloquently on the raids and what was happening, and kind of tied all the, pins on the wall and red shoestring together, for us, for everyone to understand when all that went down. So much so that he decided to launch a bid to be the FIFA president. Could not get the endorsement of 1FA. But they were so worried that this well-respected, honest, good man was going to become FIFA president that FIFA then changed their bylaws to require at least 5 endorsements of football associations. I think it is a sad part that U.S. Soccer did not step up and endorse this man to become FIFA president, or at least give it a go, just to try to shake up the establishment. But he wanted to run against Sepp Blatter.
Yeah.
And nobody would endorse him. And then FIFA went, oh, fuck. And they changed the rules as a result of his bid. And it was a brazen, bold, fantastic thing to do. And it just showed again how FIFA closes up shop, and it put a bow on their corruption. And he will be forever missed in the footballing community. He'll be forever missed in these halls here. And without him, we might not exist.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
One thought before you move on to your next thought is love him or hate him. He is absolutely, positively, this is not up for debate, the most influential soccer journalist in United States history.
Yes.
Hands down, no doubt about it. You can agree with his takes, you can disagree with his takes, but he is the most influential journalist on this sport in this country without a fucking doubt. And you're right, the world is going to suck without him, because hearing what he had to say about things, and again, even if there's times where I really disagreed with him and I'd hate read him, still fucking read him.
Yep.
Fucking amazing at what he did.
Apparently frequented the Abbey.
Ah.
A couple guys in the group shared pictures of them with him when he lived in the area.
Wow.
He would frequent the Abbey.
Now let's talk about what angers us.
Greg Berhalter. Everyone knows conversations that happen about the team with the team stay in-house in the dressing room, unless you play or work for Manchester United. Greg Berhalter nor Gio Reyna plays or works for Manchester United, so why this came out, I don't know. I thought probably with some PR coaching, because he is only 20 years old, but Giovanni Reyna's Instagram post I thought was very eloquently written and didn't burn any bridges either. But Greg Berhalter came out and basically told a story where a player, and it was very obvious who the fuck he was talking about,
because he barely fucking played, and you could see his expression when they beat Iran and the whole team's rushing in. What is the one thing everybody focused in on? Gio looking like a sourpuss. Well,
yep. Berhalter said that Gio Reyna was less than stellar in training, that he was talked to about his effort levels and made to apologize to the team and to the coaching staff, and a move which he did, and then eventually did play a role in the game that the U.S. ultimately got knocked out in. But for that to be made public, for him to be humiliated in that way as an athlete by his coach, is distasteful, disrespectful, and just a blatant disregard for the sanctuary that is the locker room.
And he's a 20-year-old fucking kid.
It's not the kick up the ass maybe that Berhalter may have thought that he needed. It's just disrespectful. It's morale crushing. It's I would lose all trust and faith in the man if I was Gio Reyna. I wouldn't talk to him about anything. I wouldn't ask him for advice. I wouldn't.
He's done. He's done in my opinion.
I wouldn't do anything.
The way you handle that, if he's being a petulant,
it's not. The other piece to it too is Gio Reyna in his own right is a good player, and not that your family should do anything, but such a fantastic servant to U.S. soccer.
Yeah,
a legend of U.S. soccer is his father. It's like looking at Tim Way and saying, you don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
His dad was the only African to win the World Player of the Year, ever.
Mm-hmm.
How you going to fucking tell him he doesn't know what he's doing? You know what I mean? Like, it's disrespectful on multiple levels for Claudio, somebody that we all still revere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the most Zidane-esque player that we've ever had.
Yeah.
For you to treat his son that way, who's playing lights out for Borussia Dortmund, to 15 minutes against England, whatever he got.
No,
and then to be
got
called
the whole second half. He got subbed in.
Oh, he did. He did. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're right. He did get subbed in at halftime. But to get to be called out in the press in that manner, I didn't use his name. It doesn't matter. We knew the fuck you're talking about. He knew who you were talking about because he responded to it. It's terrible.
How do you handle if a kid, and let's face it, he could be a petulant fucking brat. He could just not be working hard, and that be the case. You know what you do as an adult, as the adult on the team, right? A man manager, you sit his ass on the bench, and you don't fucking talk to him.
You don't talk about it.
And you don't bring it up to the team. And when he comes to you and bitches, you look at him and go, what actions do you think you've taken that have resulted in why you're not playing?
Yep.
And then you're a good manager. You've put it back on them. You've made them realize that and then they have to make the decision. Do I want to work harder in training? Do I want to do better? Or do I think it should all be handed to me? And if they think it should all be handed to them, they're going to learn real fucking fast. They ain't going to fucking play.
Greg Berhalter failed.
Don't fucking put it out there.
Failed as a coach, as a confidant, and a leader.
A mentor.
Leadership in general.
It's a 20-year-old kid. You should be a mentor. You played for Berhalter has worn the fucking crest on his chest, has played for the United States. Like, fuck you, asshole. Like, the thing about being a national team manager, it's not, everybody has to check their ego at the door when you're a national team. That's how everyone has to. There's not, there's a reason why Jose Mourinho
Unless
will
you're
never
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Right. Well, yes. You'll never, Jose Mourinho will never coach Portugal for a World Cup or an international, because at the end of the day, Jose can't stop being Jose. Jose's fucking ego is everything. And there's a reason why certain managers you see are international managers, because they're able to check the ego at the door. And it's not about you. It's not about an individual player. It's about the fucking country. At the end of the day, it's always the country. And you're going to have whatever your population is, whatever millions are in your country, are going to judge you on how you represent your country. Berhalter let down his country in his remarks and the way that he handled this and the way that he's done this. And Gio could be a petulant little fucking brat. He really could be. He could not be training. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter.
You don't handle it like this.
Doesn't matter.
As a leader in general, you praise in public, you scold in private. Number one. As a leader, you share the credit and then you take responsibility for the fuck-ups. And he didn't. He passed the buck. He is not a leader. He's a cunt. And what I have to say to Greg Berhalter is don't be a fucking cunt.
Mm-hmm.
D-Befk. Absolute prick. I've lost all respect for that. It's not hard to do with me necessarily, but when you blatantly go against the code of the locker room, and I'm not talking about the stupid shit, the hazing or the boys talk or the men will be men thing. This is a basic rule of leadership and team camaraderie, and you fucked it. Get out.
All right, Carlo, get fired by the end of 2023. Take over the United States men's national team. Take them to a World Cup, because that's what you do, Carlo, because, you've won everything else. Let's go win a World Cup.
We don't need a tip to the spear if we've got the eyebrow.
We got the eyebrow. Fucking covers everything.
Right in.
And from now on, whenever we give inspirational speeches, we need to let Cole know and just have her sit in the corner, because this whole time she's been like, yeah, and pointing at it and going,
No, you-
and mouthing exactly, yeah, fuck yeah.
You know who we
Exactly.
need?
Fuck yeah, but like, I mean, 1,000 times yes, because it's not just something that applies to football. It's something that applies to fucking life. And if you can't get leadership 101, like, you don't deserve to be
It's
a
the
fucking
first day of
leader.
ROTC I had in fucking high school as a freshman.
Right.
You don't do
You-
everything he did.
You don't
Right.
do it's
ridiculous.
101. Like, you can't get 101? Really?
It's so
You've
stupid.
been doing this for how long? And
you're
you
a
can't get the basics
Right.
straight? Get the fuck
You're
out
a
of here.
fucking unit, man. You're a unit. You're a team.
100%.
Like, what do they do in the military? They break you down to build you up to be one. To be one
I mean,
solid
it
group
was
working
wrong,
together.
but Duke University covered up the rape of 4 people. That's how close-knit of a team they were. And Greg Berhalter did not. This cut fucking not traded right. Are you serious? What are you doing? God, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not this, boys will be boys thing. It's just a basic leadership. You just don't do that. It's just stupid.
Yeah, transparency isn't always a good option.
No.
Well, I mean, just
Not in
breach of
this.
confidence.
Not in a perfectly innocent, regular situation. It's not
Right.
okay.
Right.
That's not how a team works. That's not how an organization runs.
Exactly. It wasn't some.
This is like I had a business manager that allocated shit, and he was
Right.
on vacation, and we got a lot of it in, and our bosses wouldn't reallocate it. And they were like, well, that guy's not here. Well, if he had it, don't want him to. Not saying that. What if he had a heart attack? We not selling another case the rest of the year? Somebody doesn't know how to do this? Fucking, that's the first rule of leadership too, is know the guy above you's job and the guys below your job. Because you never know when someone's taking a bullet in the skull, and we got to keep moving.
Somebody might have had 20 cases that he purposely didn't allocate this week just to let him fly out the fucking door. Everything else that's coming in may or may not be allocated. Definitely allocated.
But my point, like, what are you doing? You're failing at the basics. You're failing at the basics.
Right.
All right, we've gone 2 fucking hours.
Doesn't
That's
make
gonna wrap it up,
doesn't
boys
make
and girls.
sense.
Thank you so much
Fuck.
for joining us. This has been a marathon, but it has been well fucking worth it. Next up is injury time. We're going to continue the conversation. We are going to talk about the beers we have been drinking, maybe things that Sam wants to do. Seals.
That's not
We're gonna-
true.
We're going to check in on a couple of our adopted clubs.
That's not what I said either.
they've-
I'm running with the joke, but that's not what I said.
They've been playing. It's very Josian. You could sympathize
It's on
with what the
record. We
others
can
do.
run the tape back.
All I want to know is what they're putting in the water to make the otters gay in South Africa. That's what I want to know.
Should
Gay
somebody wanna
otters.
Should somebody want to check out injury time, Mr. Graham?
I'll say
how
it
do they
for
go
you
about
slow.
doing it?
Gay otters.
How about we plug the Patreon there, stud?
It's patreon.com/DU Football Show to catch all of our extra contents. 5 simple, easy, very low. We're in the middle of a cost of living crisis, right?
Yeah.
Just $5 simple a month gets you 2 extra shows plus all the rest of our content. It's
Price of a cup of coffee.
That's right, just once a month at that. It is you get sound check, which is our real sound check where we catch up from the week and bullshit today turned into seal fucking. For some reason. And
Still don't know how.
More like seal maping and a word that rhymes with maping.
It was your husband's fault.
yeah. And then Injury Time, which is our preview show, which we're about to come on to. That usually is more reserved for the DU After Dark. But as I said earlier, it's winter and the sun sets at 4, so everything is after dark today. Just do that, sign up, and you'll get all the extra stuff, which I think you'll really enjoy. I really do.
Until next week, everybody.
Good night. I said stay down.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of a lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey.
Sam Graham.
United! Hit the fucking mute button.